I'm Bob Woodruff. In 2006, on January 29th, I was the anchor of World News Tonight at ABC, when suddenly everything changed in an instant.
Heading up to Camp Taji. Just a foot patrol.
Since I'd been covering wars for a while, I was assigned to go over to Iraq because at that time was the peak of the war. A lot of people ask me, if reporters that have reported about wars and gone into war zones, is it really something you think about all the time? Is this a dangerous place? Do you think you could get injured? Do you think you could get killed? And I think in many ways when you go to those areas, you don't really think that deeply about it. And it's always in the back of your mind that something horrific could happen, but most people that I know that covered wars don't really think about it all the time. When I was hit, there was an improvised explosive device, an IED, that was detonated off to the left side of the tank, which completely hit us with rocks and metal, me and my cameraman who was doing a stand-up over the top of the tank. And it completely shattered this part of my jaw, my scapula on the back. If I didn't have body protection on me, I would not be alive right now. If I did not have a helmet on, I would not be alive right now. But we were hit, and I fell into the tank, and I was unconscious. When I looked up at my producer, I said, "Are we still alive?" He says, "We're still alive." The Army came and got us into helicopter while the insurgents were still opening fire. Took us to Balad where the surgery happened. They removed 16 centimeters of my skull because my brain was expanding. And that was off for the next 4 months until they finally put it on. I was then unconscious for the next 36 days before I finally woke up. I had what's called aphasia, which, since I was hit on the left part of my head, the left part of the brain is the one that is the area for memory and words. And that's the one that was damaged with me. So sometimes it's difficult for me to remember names because there's no synonyms for someone's name. That was the biggest thing I need to recover from. And I couldn't even remember the name of 2 of my 4 kids. I couldn't remember the name of our country. So many people wanted to do something for the veterans who served. So we created the foundation that would essentially raise the money to support the veterans. That was our mission. We thought it would last for about a year, but now it's been ever since 2007 when we started it. We've raised almost $100 million now, and it's going to continue. You know, I think of all the things that happened to me since I was hit, I think this is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. You know, it's interesting that when my little twin girls were about 5 years old when I was hit, and shortly after I was recovering and back again, my little baby Nora, one of the twins, came up to Lee and said, "Mom, you know, Dad still has those gross, disgusting rocks in his face." And Lee says, "Well, don't worry, they're going to be disappearing." She goes, "And Dad's back is all scarred up. It's really gross." And she goes, "Don't worry about it. That's going to get better too." And she goes, "But you know what? I think Dad loves me more than he did before." So maybe that's true too. You know, maybe I think you feel like you have this one last chance to stay on the earth that you maybe had a really damn good chance you were going to leave. And so I think there's a love of life that escalates a bit when you do come out of a crisis.